As an only child, I would talk to my mother every day. In one of our routine conversations, she asked me to come home. Maybe there's something in the tone of her voice. I got on the plane the next day, flew from New York to Dallas. When I got home, everything looked the same. My mother was in her garden as usual. She was in her garden every day religiously. She told me she wanted me to go with her to a doctor's appointment. And she'd never asked me to go to a doctor's appointment before. She didn't want to talk about it. She looked like her usual self, strong. The sign on the doctor's office said, oncologist, and my heart started racing. Oncologist? Don't they treat cancer? We sat down with the doctor, and he simply said that my mother did have cervical cancer and that she had 6 months to live. I looked at my mother. I couldn't believe what he was saying. I knew in that moment nothing would be the same. My mother, Leannell Taylor, was born of sharecroppers. They worked in the fields, along with her 7 siblings in Mahia, Texas. Later on, they moved to Dallas, Texas. They lived in the West Dallas projects where Bonnie and Clyde used to roam. My mother and her siblings would go back to Mahia, Texas to work in the fields to get extra money for school supplies. My mother graduated one of the top in her class from high school. She worked at a rag factory to put herself through Wiley College. My mother was the first person in her family to go to college, and I was born before she graduated. One of my first memories was watching her walk down the aisle at graduation. I was very proud. My mother became an English teacher. Later on, she was one of the first African Americans to integrate the Social Security Administration in Texas and Oklahoma. My mother was a pillar in her community and her family. She was a no-nonsense, God-fearing woman. For a year, she ignored the signs. Headaches, sleepless nights, difficult menstrual cycles, bloating, and she told no one, hoping that she could move through this without help, like she'd moved through most things in her life. We got a second opinion. This doctor diagnosed ovarian cancer, but this doctor humbly refused to put a time limit on a woman who refused to accept limits in her life. My mother fought a brilliant 4-year battle that was filled with living and loving. I moved back to Dallas, and I have the privilege to witness this test of faith and to witness the tenaciousness of her spirit. In that 4 years, she taught me to garden. She taught me about the garden cycles and its mysteries. What my mother passed down to me is about the tests that life gives us and how we make it through those tests. Like a hard rain in her garden, it can beat you down, but it can also give you the opportunity to take sustenance to grow stronger and to transform. Everyone has a story. Whether you have ovarian cancer or you have a loved one that has ovarian cancer, talk to us. Share your story. We have to talk about this silent killer. Please join us at ovariancancersymptomawareness.org. Save a life.